and again, that disaster network. Part of that disaster network, we have the Church of Christ. You've heard of the Church of Christ.
Right.
Out when you drive around, you see a Church of Christ. They have what's called a Church of Christ disaster relief effort. They are extremely good at, when there's a disaster, those neighboring Church of Christ serve as hubs for the community. So we immediately contacted those Church of Christ and asked them, what do you need? Can we send you supplies? So we sent, of course, the clean bottled water as well. We sent things like Clorox and bleach to clean up the homes. After the flooding settled, their homes had mold and everything else in it, so they needed to clean up those that wanted to try to rebuild.
And they were forced to live in shelters for
exactly, forced to find shelter. And we also partnered with some Baptist churches there. There's a Baptist church across the road from the old Opry there in Tennessee, and it's out on a hill, so it wasn't affected while the Opry Hotel was completely ruined. And so these churches were great locations to help get the community the supplies they needed. We also sent food and other kind of sport drinks and things like that to help those folks out. So in addition, we also were continuing to do sending furniture to them. As these folks are getting their homes back up, a lot of them had ranch homes, so everything was gone. It was completely damaged. Some of them are blessed to have two-story homes. Nothing was touched upstairs maybe, but for the most part they lost a lot. So we're trying to help them get back on their feet with furniture.
What are their long-term needs?
Long-term needs, financially a lot of these folks didn't have flood insurance.
I'm sure.
So financially they took a big hit. Normally we're not sending funding unless a church or an organization decides to raise the funds, and we'll sometimes be the transporter. We might send that money directly to those communities to help them in every way that they need. But long term, you're looking at furniture, you're looking at new clothing, you're looking at continuing supplying them with food and drinks and things like that. And rebuilding, exactly. Construction. Mm-hmm.
You brought some pictures, and I think some are Tennessee. So Phil, if you can go on and put those pictures up, we'll get Ishmael to tell us what they are.
All right. Actually, this is a picture from Haiti.
Right.
Actually, we were going through the port area there in Port-au-Prince, and we came across this. This is a great depiction of what Haiti is like. If you can see that, there's a little child there in the left corner there, and then there are pigs going through the mess there. This area, what should be creeks and rivers, is just nothing but filled with trash. And these are homes, actually, that you see on the banks.
Is this their water supply?
Yes, you will actually see people.
In the water.
You will actually see people washing their face, cleaning themselves, and probably drinking it. I didn't see it firsthand, but it would not surprise me if folks were drinking from this. They don't have access to other clean water.
It's very sad.
It really is. And this is my vice president that I mentioned. She's on the far left, Jean Smiley Mason. I'm in the middle there. And this is one of the tent cities we visited. And something about Haiti is there's so many good people there. All those people there were so happy to see us. And we were asking them their needs. And so the shipments that when we came back, the ones that we collected, were going to places like these tent cities you're seeing here to help those folks. So many children. There's some of the containers that we sent. We partner with an organization called Global Aid Network, which is an arm off the Campus Crusade for Christ. And in those containers, we had medical supplies that helped supply the local clinic there that missionary doctors were seeing those that were injured and sick, etc. And what you're seeing here is actually a Sunday service. Pastor Pierre is on the left there. We stayed with him. We were down in Haiti, and he was leading a sermon there. A lot of them are children. This is a Christian community he's trying to build there just outside of Port-au-Prince. And that big circus-sized tent you see there is a sample of what Gleaning for the World was providing to provide shelter, to provide for schooling, for services such as this, and then for feeding distribution centers. All right, now here we are in Nashville. This is just one picture of how people have gutted out their homes. You'll see several through here where folks lost everything. I mean, wherever the water level was, they had to tear out their homes a few inches above that just to get all the mold out. So you'll see anything in here from couches to refrigerators to toys, you name it. It's really heartbreaking. It's hard to depict something like this until you see it firsthand or actually experience it. But I was just baffled to see all this firsthand.
Looks like these people have lost everything.
Mm-hmm. They lost everything. I saw that sign there, yeah, waiting on FEMA. They just had everything outside. Everything was just ruined.
That looks like it's sitting on a mattress.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or
Beds.
box springs. Or
That's right. Yeah. And then while we were there, actually, just to the left of this picture when I took this, was a big old crane picking up things and putting it in a dump truck to get rid of all the garbage. But you can see drywall.
That's what I was going to say.
There.
This looks like sheetrock.
Yep.
And
mm-hmm. Yep. There's another community. And see, these are nice homes, too. Homes that were never affected by flooding ever. And so there was no need to have flood insurance. Right. And this gentleman on the right is actually part of the church that we were with, Twin Rivers Baptist Church, and he's handing out some food there to one of the locals that were affected by the flooding. Yep. And this is actually at the Two Rivers Baptist Church. Here are volunteers. They're actually unloading. When I got there, they were unloading one of our truckload of supplies, which I was so excited to see. So you're seeing paper supplies like toilet paper, paper towels, napkins, and then some drinks there on the left, and even rags to help clean the homes, things that you wouldn't think of that they might need. And there's that truck. We partner with trucking companies like Abilene, so they drove that big truckload over there, which is kind of funny. Two Rivers Baptist Church doesn't have a warehouse, but they were able to find a forklift, and so this was how we were able to get the supplies off the truck. There was no dock, so we had to do everything the hard way, but we made it happen. And this is a picture of our warehouse. This is the warehouse in Concord, where we've been for the last 7 years, and this is a typical day that you might see. This is an aisle filled with product donations that just came in from a company. So it could be medical supplies or food or clothes. And we're going to go through each one of those boxes just to make sure that it is okay to send out into the field. And this is a warehouse we're leasing in Appomattox. This is something we don't get to see very often, but this is the bottled water that we have ready for disasters. We partnered with the company Nestle Water, and they've been very gracious enough to help us out when we go to respond. And so we have plenty of water right now to be able to distribute. So in these upcoming collections, when we're going to collect things, water is not on that list because we have plenty right now. But
I just thought this picture was awesome when
yeah,
I saw it. I mean, it just looks like miles and miles of water.
It sure is. And I was brave enough to get on a forklift, and they raised me to the ceiling there. Good thing I'm not afraid of heights. And here are our volunteers. Michael Justice is on the far right there. He is our volunteer coordinator, and the rest are volunteers going through what you're seeing is our clothes that were recently donated to us, all brand new, and all those will be going to Haiti, actually. So we're really got a lot going on.
You really do. I just think it's wonderful what you do. In fact, I don't understand how you can be so many places at one time, but I think that it's to your credit that you're able to do this. Now, being a nurse, I'm interested in this mobile medical clinic that Gleaning has. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Reverend Davidson, our president and founder, has met with a team of engineers with a company in North Carolina, and they developed what's called the mobile medical clinic. Oftentimes, when missionaries, when receiving organizations are out in the field, these communities that are far from any kind of city or building or anything, they don't have access to doctors, they don't have access to medical supplies. And so the reason these mobile medical clinics are so important is because they're durable. They're set to go through rough terrain, and they're set to be stocked with medical supplies. So, for instance, in Kenya, in communities that they don't ever see doctors, you're able to pull this thing either with a truck if you have it, or even an ox. It's even set up to do that, seriously, or even helicopter. You could be flown in, and doctors can easily work out of this clinic to provide the needs that these folks need. It's also perfect for inner cities here in America, where folks may not be able to afford medical care, etc. We're trying to work with missionary doctors to go into these cities and perform out of these medical clinics to give the folks what they need.
I was going to ask you how it was staffed, but
yeah.
It's just from volunteer medical people
Exactly.
on site.
Yeah, it's rooms that really want to make a difference, but they don't know how.